Attention! Fabrizio Romano 100% confirms £30 million signing by Liverpool. Crystal Palace wants Liverpool star for £40 million as a swap deal for Mark Guehi not ruled out. Newcastle may take drastic measures over Alexander Isak as the Liverpool saga continues. Hello, Reds fan. Check out the latest news from the biggest club in the world. Liverpool has confirmed the imminent signing of Italian defender Giovanni Leone. According to journalist Fabrizio Romano, the player will travel to Merseyside this Thursday to undergo medical examinations after all the documents for the deal were approved. Quote, "Understand that Giovanni Leone will fly to Merseyside on Thursday. The deal with Liverpool has been closed. All documents are ready, and the club has already authorized Leone to take his medical exams. Done, 100% confirmed," Romano reported. The transfer, valued at around £30 million, represents an important reinforcement for Arne Slot's squad, who begins his second season in charge after winning the Premier League title last campaign. Leone's arrival will add depth to a defense that lost Jarell Quansah to Bayer Leverkusen for £35 million and currently relies on Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate, and Joe Gomez as main options, with Gomez recovering from an Achilles tendon injury. With this signing, Slot will be able to rotate his defense more effectively and better manage the demands of competing on multiple fronts. The club's strategy is clear: maintain a solid defense to remain competitive both domestically and in Europe. Leone is expected to be integrated immediately into the first team, ruling out any possibility of a loan. The Reds have until Thursday at noon to register Leone if they want him available for the match against Bournemouth. Even so, it is unlikely Slot will place him on the bench without having trained with his new teammates. If not registered in time, his debut could take place away at Newcastle United on Monday, August 25th. Liverpool overcame competition from elite Italian clubs and other Premier League teams to secure Leone, a player who has always made clear his desire to wear the current champion's shirt. At the same time, the club is in negotiations with Crystal Palace to sign defender and captain Mark Guehi. Among fans, Leone's arrival generates excitement and confidence for the new season. With Quansah's departure and Gomez's fitness issues, the signing brings stability and tactical flexibility. The intelligent development of the squad and proactive transfer approach indicate that Liverpool is preparing not only to defend the title, but also to compete at the highest level in all competitions, raising hopes for a successful cycle under Arne Slot. Liverpool may involve Harvey Elliott in a deal with Crystal Palace to sign the club captain, Mark Guehi. Talks began earlier this week, with the Reds exploring the possibility of a double deal that could include Elliott as part of the agreement. Arne Slot is eager to strengthen Liverpool's defense after the team conceded many goals in preseason and is simultaneously pursuing the signings of Guehi and Parma defender Giovanni Leone. Guehi, now in the final year of his contract with Palace, seems set to join the current Premier League champions. Liverpool hopes to sign the England international for between £30 million and £35 million, while Palace is seeking £40 million. However, negotiations have become complicated due to Palace's interest in Elliott, who is seeking more game time and wants to leave Liverpool to play regularly. Last season, Elliott played 53 games for Liverpool, contributing to the Premier League title, but started only twice in the league. Frustrated with his situation, the 22-year-old made it clear at the start of the summer transfer window that he would explore other options. According to The Sun, Crystal Palace sees Elliott as a potential replacement for Eberechi Eze, who is being targeted by Tottenham and Arsenal. With entry to the Europa League denied, Palace may be pressured to sell Eze. Tottenham is ready to make an offer for Eze, believing they can sign him before Arsenal, who first need to sell players to free up space in their squad. This scenario has created a linked transfer chain. Liverpool values Elliott at £40 million, considering he has 2 years left on his contract. Slot understands the midfielder's desire to play more regularly, aiming for a spot in the England squad for the 2026 World Cup.
Eze has a £68 million release clause in his Palace contract, expiring on Friday. Tottenham, who lost James Maddison to an anterior cruciate ligament injury, does not intend to trigger the full clause and hopes to negotiate the player for a lower fee. Besides Palace, Elliott has also been monitored by RB Leipzig, who could sign him to replace Xavi Simons, moving to Chelsea. Brighton and West Ham have also shown interest in the midfielder, but no transfer has been completed so far. After Palace's victory over Liverpool in the FA Community Shield, club president Steve Parish commented, "Players come and go at football clubs, it's a life cycle, isn't it? I hope they're still here, that's what I would like. But we'll see."
Isak is showing little loyalty at the moment, and although he remains silent, only he can truly decide whether he feels betrayed by the lack of a contract offer or unfulfilled promises, reports Chronicle Live. Eddie Howe, manager of Newcastle United, had only faced one public dispute with a player before this summer. That incident occurred when winger Ryan Fraser disappeared after being left on the bench during the away match against AFC Bournemouth in March 2023. Fraser was relegated to the reserves and never returned to the first-team training ground in Benton, effectively ending his senior career at the club. At the time, Howe told the media, "I made the decision to focus on the players committed to Newcastle, and for the benefit of the group, I made that call." Isak's situation is different, though there are parallels with Fraser's case. The striker's saga has already gone on much longer, without him being sent to train with the under-21s at Little Benton. Moreover, it is a more complex case due to Isak's reputation and high transfer value. So far, he has been training alone at Benton, interacting little with his teammates, and even missing the team barbecue last week. Howe decided that Isak was not ready to return to the first team for the friendlies against Espanyol and Atletico de Madrid. Meanwhile, Newcastle continues preparing for the match against Aston Villa and making moves in the transfer window, including signing Malik Thiaw from Milan and pursuing Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa. Isak's situation is more complicated than Fraser's or any other player Howe has had to manage since becoming head coach. Howe has the persuasive skills to try to convince him to return, but Isak is also aware that he could compete for titles with Liverpool. Howe, known for his high emotional intelligence, certainly did not want this situation for Isak. The initial plan was to reintegrate him into training after the team returned from the Far East. As the saga continues, the question now is when the door, which remains slightly open for Isak, might close completely. If Isak refuses to play for Newcastle and cannot secure his transfer to Liverpool, his only option will be to train with the reserve team. The club has previously relegated bigger stars than Fraser to the second-team training, including Hatem Ben Arfa and Sylvain Marveaux, as well as Henri Saivet, Tim Krul, Jeff Hendrick, and Jack Colback, who also spent periods at Little Benton. Relegation to the reserves remains a real possibility for Isak. A parallel with Fraser's saga is that 12 months ago, before the Scots transfer to Southampton, Newcastle's first home game was against the club the player wanted to join. Newcastle completed the transfer a few days after defeating the Saints last year, and with Liverpool continuing to monitor Isak's situation, the story could repeat itself this summer. Thank you very much for watching until here. See you next time.